Now, in the customer table, customer ID is the what do you call it now? Primary key. Remember, I'm talking about primary key and foreign key, right? Customer ID is the what's that? Okay. Customer ID is the primary key. In the transaction table, customer ID is the foreign key because in the transaction table, customer ID here is to connect to the customer ID in the customer table. Remember, it's an identifier that is used to link or connect to other table. If I want to join these two tables, which you would learn by the end of this class, um, I'm going to use the foreign key to link to the primary key, right? But on the transaction table, transaction ID is the primary key. Now let's look at it closely. You can see that on your transaction ID, you have one, you have two, you have three, you have four, you have five, right? Now, customer ID, watch, you have three, you have one, you have two. No repetition yet. But hold on, you come down here and you have two again, right? And you have three again. So that already signals that this is definitely not, apart from the naming convention, which already gives it away, right? You already know that this is probably a link for another table. I'm going to show you that quickly. So what this means, what this transaction ID is saying to us, using our customer table we have above, is that the first transaction was made by Pelumi Henshaw at 560 purchase selling purchase price or whatever she bought for 550, right? The next one is going to be by who? By Jack Wine, right? And spent 1,000 at the mall. The third purchase is going to be by Blessing Audrey and she spent 850. Do you understand? And the next one is going to be by same Blessing Audrey, who spent another 482. And then the last one is going to be by Pelumi Henshaw again, who spent 989. Do you understand? So this is how foreign keys and primary keys work in a simple way, rather, in a simplest form, I'm trying to say, right? So I'm quickly going to move to a proper table. Why I explain all this, I explained to you, was so that you're going to notice something here, so that it doesn't throw you off. Now you notice that on this table you have movies and you have actors, and you see a small dot down there, right? So the question is, why is there a dot in our form table and our form clause? Because what we did last week, there was no dots, aside from when we were trying to do the CSV thing, but there was no dots. Why am I using the dots here? This is how you show connection in a relational database. The one thing I didn't show you here is that your relational database would have its own name. So let's assume that the relational database name is um, let's call it store data. I shouldn't do this actually, should have been all small letter. But I can't change that. Just leave that store data, right? So if I wanted to show all the transaction under transaction ID, I would say store data dot transaction. So this will be my from clause. Do we get it? So I'm going to say from store data dot transaction. This store data here is the name of the relational database, while the transaction is a table in that database. Do you understand? Sorry, identify that's not done. Sorry. Uh, that yes. What did I just do? Amazing. Okay. Okay. Right. So the same thing you have here. Now I'm going to quickly show you how to view your tables. So I click on show table by the right here. See that there? And then you can see all the table under this database, right? So you have movies. Under movies, you have actors, you have acting, you have customers, you have movies, you have renting, right? All these are tables. But I'm just going to work with actors for now while I show you the rest later. So now let's remove our limits. So we can do our limits. Let's just or make the limits to 5. So we just have a or 10. Let's make 10 and run. So we have a database in the movies database, right? We have a table rather called actors in the movies database. Now, this actors table contains the following fields. We have the actors ID. Remember about the actors ID, Sean, I showed you, right? That's the primary key. So we know that this is the primary key. As you can see, number one will always be Abekonish, number two will always be Adam Sandler, number three will always be Al Pacino rather, and number four will be Amy Adams, like that, right? And we have the year of birth, we have the nationality, we have the gender. We can expand this and we can see every content of our table, right? Now, sorry, hold on. Yes, sorry, pardon that to quick attention to something. Right, nationality and gender. Now, um, for now we've known the content of our or the fields of our table. We're going to do what we call aggregates. Start from the simplest one. We're not going to aggregate, but simplest one is called counts. What does counts do? Right? What does this do? Select counts. What does that do? So counts the number of non-null records in our database or in our table rather. The number of non-null records in our table. If I want to know how many um, records we have, aside from this, okay, the different show down here, right? I'll just do select counts, open bracket, asterisk, close bracket. Why asterisk? The next question. Why can't I just say select counts, maybe everything? Asterisk is how we show everything. It's used to connote everything or denote everything, right? So I want to see all the records, the number of all the records in the actors table, right? So we run that, and that will give us our results. So we can see that we have 145 counts. In context, that would be 145 actors in our table. Do you understand? Do you have any of these, what do you call it now? Question, as for what we ask, always learned so far. Any question before I move on? Any question?
Sir, sorry, sir. I want to ask, you
Yeah.
didn't mention, you said you were talking about the way we link the primary key with the foreign key.
Yes.
Yes, you didn't tell us what we use to link it or what we use to denote it.
Yes, we'll get there. We'll get there. I was mentioning that because I was going to begin to introduce it. Like we saw in the previous instance where we had, let me show you that, where we had this, I told you that the actor's ID, like you can see on your screen now, here, is a primary key, right? Now, how we use primary key and foreign key and stuff, you're going to see that. I'm going to show you that, right? But for now, you can see that actor's ID here is a primary key. Do you get that?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Mary, I think I saw your hand.
Yes, I wanted to ask this table,
Yes.
is it that you got it from somewhere or you created it yourself? In case someone
No,
wants to practice.
this table is, yes, thank you for that question. This table is in Data Lab. So all you have to do is, remember I said, you go to Data Lab and you go to Data Lab by clicking on Data Lab at the center up there. You can see Data Labs there. And it's going to
Yes,
bring you to Data Lab tabs. Remember, Data Lab is not on your mobile device, on your system. So when you do
yes,
that, you get a new workbook by the left-hand side there, that green button you are seeing there, this one
yes, yes,
here.
yes.
So we open a new workbook, and then you come down to this drop down here, and then you click on select data source.
Okay.
So Then you click on, where's that button? Browse sample data sources. You can see that there. This
Oh,
last button down here.
yeah. Okay.
Can you see that?
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, let me zoom that in.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So once you click on that, hold on. Once you click on that, it's going to open up this interface. All you have to do is just select PostgreSQL here, that
Oh,
one down there. So once you select Postgres, it's going to filter only for Postgres because Data Labs has for Python and MySQL, Oracle, different stuff there. So what we are currently using is this file here called course database.
okay.
So once you click on it, you can see it has the cinema, it has the DVD rentals, medal, movies, public. So we're currently using movies under
Oh,
the course database.
oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
So once you get here, all you have to do is click select data by the top right, at the top right, yes. Select
And then you
data
you
source.
you get the data. Then you get the table.
Yes. Then the table is already embedded into that cell. So you just click your query, select all from movie dots, whatever you want to use, or cinema dots, whatever is there. You can always find it there.
Okay. Too.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you. That's
So
clear.
let's
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now let's get back to business. So I've explained the primary key and I explained what count does, right? So let's go back to our scheme of work. So we have select distinct. Now, from the word distinct, it we can safely assume before we test. So for now, to you guys, it's an assumption. We can safely assume that it means it is unique, separate from every other. It doesn't have a repetition, right? So in for our table here, this is not a good example to use. Let me use this one, nationality. Yeah, this is our table here. We can see that we have Australia, we have USA, we have USA, we have USA, we have British, we have USA, 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 British, Somalia, and we keep having different nationality depending on the actor that is in the movie, right? So the idea of distinct is to select only one country or one instance of any country. So if it comes here, it's just going to see Australia, USA, and it's going to skip all other instances of USA and go to British. USA again, going to skip it and go to, it's in British again, going to skip that and go to Somalia. So from these 10 records we have here, it's going to select only Australia, British, and Somalia, right? So let's test that out and see, first of all. So before we do that, we're going to select nationality, right? Nationality, and we run. So this is going to return the field of nationality. I don't want to show everything. I just want to keep it down to 10. That's why I left the limit 10 there. If I remove that limit 10, it's going to show all the records of nationality in all the instances, right? So now I want distinct nationality. So I'm going to remove my limit because I want to see how many they are, right? So for the code for that or the query for that is select this. Okay, let me just put that. Select distinct, right? Select distinct nationality. Can you see that? Is it clear enough? Yes. So select distinct nationality. Now, this selects each instance of nationality. All I have to do is to run my code. Um, some reason my button is not sure. Okay, showing up now. And we run that. So we can see that we have Argentina, we have Spain, we have Italy, Puerto Rico, Iran, North Ireland, USA, Israel, Netherlands, South Africa. We have null values here. You can see number 10 is null, right? Then we have Austria, we have Australia, we have Ireland again. I saw Ireland before. Okay, no Ireland then. We have Canada, we have British, and we have Somalia. So according to our data set, we have where is that? Okay. According to our data set, the what is this now? Okay, okay. We have um 16 countries, 17 countries represented here, right? Because the first one is zero. You can see index zero, right? So we have 17 countries represented here, and some actors, whether one or more, whose nationality was not recorded. We don't know how many there are yet, but it's not recorded. So we can see that 17 countries are clearly represented for the actors' data set. Do you understand? In the movies that we have. So what if I want to? What if it is a distinct column, but the records are so much? Even if I do distinct, we still have like 2,500. I can't start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? All I have to do is to add my distinct plus count. So that would be counts distinct nationality. And when I run that, I'm going to see 17. You see that? Now remember what I've said. Counts would the count function or the count clause, the function is better, would count the non-null value. In other words, the non-empty cells or records. If we were being technically accurate, we can say that we have 18 distinct nationality because one of these record was null. So it just goes to say that there are some people that don't have um, the nationality recorded, right? But the count function does not count null values. So you can see that we have 17 as the answer. So it is put that into your data analytics that you can find out, oh, there are some null values somewhere and stuff like that, right? But that is for your EDA, exploratory data analysis. Let's move on from here. So we've done that. The next thing we're going to do is let's move to filtering because every other thing here is just talk, 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 talk. I just want to move to let's our time. So we did last week, we started with the where, right? So now let's continue with where with numbers and where with text. Now, if I want to get records, so let me return this to 10. All right. So I can use my where clause to filter based off strings or value in a cell in a column. What does that mean? I can say that show me all the actors that are female. And I don't want to add this gender column here because if I already say show me all the actors that are female, it doesn't make any contextual sense to now put gender in the results because my query already says that are female. Or better still, what are the names of all the female actors in our table? That's a better way to put the question. It does not make sense to now say, oh, Abby Cornish, female. Who again can I use? Amy Adams, female. Angelica Houston, female. Doesn't make any sense because the question has already been the names of all the female actors. So it means that my results, any name I'm saying, is safe to assume that it's female, right? So let me show you what that would look like. So I'm going to say select name. Remember what I want to see, the column I want to see. I want to see the name column, right? From movies and actors, where gender gender equals. I'm going to do something just so that you can see this before it happens. When it happens to you, you know that this is the reason why it's happening, right? Okay, let me run this first. Let me run this first. Okay. So now I say run. So it's going to show me all the records of the female actors. So now we know Abby Cornish is female, Amy Adams is female, Annie Hathaway is female, Bridget Munahan rather is female, Kate Blanket is female, Catherine Keener is female, right? All these names we know is female. Simple straight to the point. Now, in your error called debugging, which is around, I think, here, debugging errors and stuff, one of the things you notice is if for any instance you mistakenly did not put this single quote mark and you run that, it's going to run into, right? So it's going to tell you column female does not exist, right? If you use a double quotes, it should give you the same error, right? Let's try that and see. Same thing. Column female does not exist, right? So the way to highlight or reference a string in a column is to use a single quote. So we run that again, sing gender equals single quotes female, and we got the answer. Same thing if we did for male, right? So we did for male and we run. So you see, so Adam Sandler, we have Barry Pepper, we have Bill Nighy, Bruce Dern, Bruce McGill, right? That's how we use the um, text. Why we use text with. How about numbers? How about numbers? Now let's also try that. So I'm going to see. Let's undo. Let's go back to our previous and see what we can use out of that. So year of birth, right? So let's use year of birth. Where year of birth. As you can notice, there was no need putting the columns in, right? So year of birth. Now let's do this and let's try with a single quote, right? 1982. And let's run. Okay, like I said, there's no point. Let's just use the name. Name, yes. Select name where who are born in the year 1982, right? So we can see that Abi Cornish was born in the year 1982, Annie Hathaway born in the year 1982, Eddie Red Mayen born in the year 1982. What if we remove the, because this is one of the things that you have to do for, like what Anuruka Mary was asking when you are practicing on your own. These are what you have to be doing at this stage. Testing things to see what breaks, what does not work, what works, right? So we can notice from our results that 1982 came back, even when we did not put the single quotes, right? But in the text, when we didn't put single quotes, what happened? Nothing came back. Do you understand? So let's do that again. I'm seeing something that I'm not. Wait, hold on. I'm missing something. Okay, yes. Yes. Okay, so let's continue. So you can notice that single quotes or no single quotes would work with numbers, but uh, text would not work without a single quote. You have to put it in the string value, right? Now, let's try. Let's continue. So now we have multiple criteria using and or. So what is multiple criteria? Multiple criteria is I want to state my filter under different conditions. What if I want to select um, where the person is born in 1982 and in the US or in the US? So these are two different conditions because the first one would only bring results where the two factors are true, where 1982 is true and when USA is true. But the all logic would only choose where at least one is true, right? So either 1982 is true or the USA is true. So let's make that again. So let's start with the and. So we and gender equal. No, sorry, nationality is what we're trying to do. Let's see. Nationality equals USA. Was it USA or US that was there now? by the USA. I think it was. I don't remember if it was USA or US that was there. Okay, it's USA. So and it had to came up, so it's USA because US nothing will come up. Let's try that and see. That's what. Let's try US. See, nothing's going to come up. So it's USA. This is what you're going to be doing in data analytics. A lot of testing, especially with SQL, right? So now we know that Annie Hathaway was born in the year 1982 and from US, right? Now, what if we want to use the or? Let's use the or and run that. So let's click on run, and we can see Abdi Cornish, Adam Sandler, and rest. We have about 93 of them. You can see 93 rows down there. Let me zoom that in. Okay, hold on. Sorry, for those that are using mobile device, I'm just trying to do this so that you can see 93 down there. So we can see that we have records, do you understand, of people that are either from the USA or were born in the year 1982. Now, this would also include the people for whom both instances are true. That means people who are born in USA and people who were also, sorry, people whose nationality is USA and people who were born in 1982 would also be on this list. The or logic does not say that only one must be true, right? It says that only one must be true for it to show up in your results, but does not mean that if two, the both of them are true, it will not show up, right? So that's how the or logic works. Any question thus far before I move ahead? Trying to wrap up. Question. Okay, Aisha, you first.
Good evening, sir. Thanks so much for the lesson. Please, can you hear
Good
me?
evening.
Okay, sir.
Yes, I can hear
Please,
you.
okay, please, can you display the syntax of what you're teaching us? I want to ask question from the from line.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what is the from? Why is it written as from movies dot actors? Why not from movies? Please, I didn't really get that part. Thank you, sir.
Oh, all right. All right. I'll turn to that. Flourish. I saw your hand.
Okay, so when you mentioned that that quoting is just one, but on our laptop it's two quoting that is there. How are we going to go about that? Are we going to be copying and pasting the quotes? Because I've checked from our
Okay.
laptop, I did not see any one quote there.
Okay. Thank you. Let me address your own first. Flourish. On your laptop, as I'm looking at it, are you seeing it right now? Flourish, are you with your system right now? Hello, Flourish, are you there? Okay, I don't think she's there. Let's go back to Aisha. So Aisha, you asked the question about why we use from dot actors, why not just
I'm
movies
muted,
and actors.
sorry.
All right, all
I'm
right,
muted.
Flourish.
I was just
Are you seeing your keyboard right
yes,
now?
I'm seeing it now, yes.
Do you notice that there is a double quote up and a single quote down?
Double quote up. No,
Are you using a phone keyboard or a laptop keyboard?
a laptop keyboard. I just opened my
Yes,
laptop.
so
I'm using my phone to join the
I
meeting,
know, I
but
understand,
my
I understand. So
laptop is on.
beside your enter key, that's where your quote is. Beside the enter key on your right hand
Oh,
side.
okay.
Have you seen
And
it?
there is one of call bracket and the normal bracket,
Not bracket, the quote.
the quote.
Okay,
Huh?
after L,
I'm
you can
seeing
notice
one
a
with, I saw one on that is under the icon of art. Do you know what you're talking about? The one that is
oh
under
your
that
own
art
is it a
icon.
single quote?
It's a single quote, yes. Under like it's just that
Okay,
when
so I see
when you
what is
say
happening.
Adebola's
Yes,
that
yes,
quote.
I know what so that is two buttons after L, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, I know what is happening. So what's happening is that the type of keyboard you are using is a bit different. So it switched the at for number two. If you check number two, you will see the double quotes there.
Number two. Yes, I've seen the double quote there.
Good. So what is happening is the way your keyboard is arranged was arranged. So if you want to sort that out, you can always test it by. But the single quote will always come out once you press that at button on your own keyboard. Not for every other person, but just you. That single quote will always come out. But for the double quotes in your own case, you have to test it to see. So you have to press shift that at button. If at comes out, that means your own double quote is at number two. But you can also check if it doesn't come out. If double quote comes out when you press the at button with shift, that means your at button is actually at number two and not where it is shown on your
Okay,
keyboard.
hold on, hold
That's
on.
the issue.
On top the number two, there's a double quote
Yes,
there. Yes,
I
but you can't use
understand.
double
Understand.
quote because it's single quote that we are using. Oh.
I know. I know. I'm just telling you because the time will come, we start using double quotes on some certain things.
Okay,
Do you understand?
I understand, but how am I going to use the single quote? That is the problem.
Just press the
But how do
button.
I use the
Nothing else.
powerful?
Just press the button. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. Yes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. You're welcome. So, Ayode, no, Aisha, sorry, no, Ayode. Ayode, I'm coming to you. You said that movies.actors. So, I was explaining that there's something called relational database, meaning that we have let's call it a mother database, and then that mother database no, let me say that. Let's call it a community of database. Let's put it that way, not a mother database. A community where each table have a way in which they relate to another table. So you can have, from what you can see on the screen that I was doing before, I don't know when you joined the call, but initially I was talking about customers and transactions. So in this database, we have customers table and transaction table. And I brought the concept of, I taught the concept of primary and foreign keys, right? So primary keys are unique identifiers for a record in a table. So the primary key for customer table here, as you can see, is customer ID. Why? Because customer ID number one refers to Jack Wine. Customer ID number two refers to Blessing Audrey. Customer ID number three refers to Pelumi Henshaw. In this table, number three would always be Pelumi Henshaw. It never changes. So it's a primary key. It's a primary unique identifier for a record in that table, right? So, but in another table, a foreign key, like you can see here, is an identifier that is used to link or connect to other tables. So if you come to transaction table, the foreign key the foreign key here is customer ID. Customer ID here is used to link to customer table. And I was telling somebody before that I'm going to show you how that works. But you first have to understand what a relational database is. So let me use something more simple, right? So we can say that in a classroom, we have boys, we have girls, we have, permit me to say, we have intelligent people and average students, right? Now everybody is sharing the same classroom. That is like a relational database. Do you understand? So we can say that the primary key of gender is going to be male and female. When you see male, it's no, primary key is going to be a foreign key rather. So let me use another scenario. Let me say another scenario. Mm, yes, that's not going to work for a. Okay. So let's assume that we have a table called gender for the class, right? So we have male and female, point blank, period. Do you understand? Male and female, point blank, period. But then we have another table called student names and student information or student biodata. So you have Emmanuel Dublin Green, you have Flores Kolumi, you have Miriam Adebisi, you have Kabiru Adenoyu, right? You have Ayo Ade, you have Anuruka Mary, right? So the foreign key, the foreign key, what would function as foreign key in the biodata table is a column called gender ID. Why? Because gender ID connects to the gender table, which is just two records on the gender table. So let's assume that male is, okay, female is one, Male is 2, right? On the student biodata table, you will see something like Emmanuel Dublin Green, gender ID 2, Kabiru, gender ID 2, Mary, Miriam, Adebisi, gender ID 1, Anuruka, gender ID 1, right? So that is a foreign key. It is bound to be repeated. So now that's the relational database. If you want to reference a particular table in a relational database, you are going to use this symbol here called the dots. So the relational table name, like the main thing, is called movies. That is the database that is housing all those tables. Its name is movies. Now, under movies, you have actors, you have acting, you have rental, and so other tables. So we use actors. We want to just work with actors for now. Do you understand? Good. I can see your thumbs up emoji. That's why we use movies like that. So what I showed before this whole query results, you could see actors ID. Actors ID is the primary key in this table, right? So lastly, before I move on, before we call it a day, before I move on, call it a day, because I'm going to show you this thing first. I saw Ayode's hand. Ayode,
Okay, sir. Sir, can you explain the use of and or how we use it? I don't really understand it.
okay. You know that it is possible that Emmanuel Dublin Green can be a science student and also be a male, right?
Yes, sir.
And we know that Ayode can be a master's degree holder and also be a female, right? So the AND function is used to show multiple criteria. Remember that our where clause, pardon me for writing this like this, is not supposed to, even though it works, but in terms of it's supposed to be in all caps. So, what am I saying now? We're not presenting. What's happening? Are you guys seeing my screen? Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, so I don't know why this did not change. It should be always write your queries in your clause in all caps. It's just a proper writing style. It doesn't stop your code from working, but just proper writing style. Right? So now the where clause is a filter. I want to filter my results. So it's like me saying, oh, everybody in the class stand up. If you know that your CGPA is 3.5, sit down. What I just did now is I just filtered. Do you get? So I can filter with multiple criteria. So multiple criteria in this sense is going to be, oh, if you know that your CGPA is 3.5, but your GPA is 2, sit down. Now I've done multiple criteria. So when I want my multiple criteria to be true, then I use and. That means whatever criteria I state will be true. If I want to say that only if your CGPA was 3.5 and your GPA was 2, sit down. I don't want if your GPA was 6.5, but maybe your GPA was not 2, that kind of thing. I want both instance to be true or the multiple instance I state to be true. Then I use and. Do you get? Now, if I only want one to be true out of the instances I have selected, what's going on? The instances I have selected, then I use all, right? So what the all does is that all says, okay, if you meet at least one of the criteria, you pass. So I can come to, let me continue using the same class scenario. I can come to the class and say, oh, if you know that you wrote the test yesterday or you submitted your assignments today, sit down. I have just used an or. So that means people who submitted their assignment today and people who did test yesterday can sit down. Do you get? They can do any of the two of them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's both. So in this case now, We can, okay, my screen is no longer sharing. Let me share it again. In the case of what we're using, we saw that we use the and the or for the nationality and date of birth. So I'm trying to share my screen, my thing refreshed. So for nationality, we said that if they were in the USA, right? If they were in the USA and they were born in 1982, our result brought back only one person that was born in 1982 and was in the USA, right? But if you use the or, you're just telling the system that okay, oh, if this person was born in 1982, show them. If they were also from um, the USA, but were not born in was not 1982, still show them. It doesn't matter. Anyone pass. That's how the function is used. Do you understand, Ayade?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I'm trying to share my screen. I don't know why. Okay, window. There you are. Share. Hey, Aisha, please. Okay, yes, Aisha has done that already. Right.
Yes, sir.
So, yes, please. I saw you draw that thing that's in here. I was trying to bring attention to that. Can we see my screen? I've shared it, but I'm not even seeing it on my phone. Is my screen visible on the call?
No, sir, it's not visible.
No, sir, it's not.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm reloading stuff. All right, so that's how the function move. I want to just call it a day quickly because of time. All right. Well, I'm going to introduce you to another concept which we're going to work on. Okay. Oh, I did not buy. Okay, I'll just do goodbye and quickly run that for the time. Sorry, what's this? Okay. Sorry, pardon for exceeding the time. Yeah. My screen is loading up. So I will show you what group by is. Right. So what does group by? Before I show you what group by is, I'm just going to just talk about it. Um, I is used to group or categorize results. What if I want to make a count? Because we learned what count is. So what if I want to make a count of every instance? Remember that we're not doing distinct. So we're not just counting only one instance. I want to make a count of every instance of every country in our database. What does that mean? It means that I want to ask the question, how many representative do we have for each country in our database? That's the question. So how many USA actors are there? How many is actors are there? How many Somalian actors are there? And stuff like that. So let me run that. I think okay, my screen is not yet. Oh, this thing is giving me. Hey, let me just while that is loading up, let me run that. Let me write that nationality and then comma and then we'll say count. Pardon me, you're going to see it soon, so I don't know why this guy went off. I'm sorry, the okay. I think it has joined. Share, share the window. Yes, share that, share. I think you should see it any moment from now. Oh, pretty please, sure. Sorry, I do not know why this is not showing up. Okay. There. Amazing. This is so not happening. Okay. Okay, can we see the screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank
I
you.
can see
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. So now we can see that I've taken out the where clause here because we don't need to filter for now. We just want to see nationality and then we just want to see the count of every nationality, right? So how does that work? There's something called a group by. So I will say group, no, if I type that, group by is used to show categorization of strings or variables in our data set. So I'm just going to type that in so you see what it looks like. So nationality. Now, if you want to show more items in your select, you do that by making a comma after each item, right? So you can see nationality, comma, count everything. So group by nationality. So all I have to do is to press run. What would that be? That will show me all the country and how many counts of those country exist in our data set of 145 rows, right? So we're going to show that. So see that from our data set, is it visible? Okay, okay. Let me zoom that in a bit. So we can see that from our data set, we have one representative from Argentina. We have three representatives from Spain, one from Italy, one from Puerto Rico, one from Ireland, one from Northern Ireland, sorry, Iran, one from Northern Ireland, one 91 from USA, one from Israel, like that, like that, like that. So that's how we use the group by function. The group by function is going to categorize your results, but the group by function has a rule of engagement. You cannot a group by you cannot group by a column that does not already exist in your select statement. Why is it dropping off? Okay, showing up now. Yes. You cannot group by a variable that does not exist in your select statement. So you see nationality here, nationality must be in your select statement. I can't group by something that is not, unlike the where clause that I could group by, I could filter for gender, even though gender was not in my select statement. I cannot do the same thing for group by. Group by, it must exist in your select statement, right? So that's how we use the group by. Now, practically, this doesn't make any sense. Why? It doesn't make any sense because now we have to start to say, oh, number one, number three. Sorry, Argentina has one, Spain has three. I don't. There's no order to this thing. There seems to be no order to it. We want to put order because we are folks of order, right? So to do that, there is a clause, and that clause is called order by. For memory's sake, just think of it as order my results by this and this and this, right? So the clause is called order by. So I'm going to type that in. Hmm. My system is having an emotional breakdown today. Okay, so order by. Order by. Now, I want, I'm going to do two things here. So please, I'm just doing all this because I believe that you're going to be following your lessons and it's going to help you understand what is going on. So I want to order by the count, right? So I will say order by counts. I'll copy that and paste it there, but it doesn't make any sense. Right? It really doesn't make any sense because why am I counting everything? I order by count of everything. It doesn't make any sense. So I want to rename this guy here for two reasons. For the sake of the look of my code, and for the sake of whoever is looking at the result, so it makes sense because count does not make any sense. Count of what? Is it count of um the count of the movies they've acted in, the count of what? Because remember that people will only see your result, they might not see your code base, except for the technical listing. So, what do? There's something called an alias. So, I'm going to just, for those that don't understand what alias is, I'm going to use a simple description. So, imagine a spy, right? A spy will not use his real name, use another name to be known by, or a nickname. That word nickname or spy name, code name, whatever, is called alias. I'm going to type that in there so you see. So alias. That is how it is. It's not Elias, please. It's alias. Right. So that's alias. So when you do an aggregate or when you select any column or you select any aggregate, counts might pass as an aggregate. The counts as an aggregate, I'll show you aggregate. You use an alias to change the naming structure. So I can say select nationality by number of representative. Now, when I run this, let's remove this order by here, cut, and I run, you would notice that by the right of our results, that count is going to disappear and it's going to become number of representatives. Show you my system like that emotional breakdown. Okay, yes, it's back. I think you're not seeing it yet. Hold on. Yes, you see it now. So, number of representatives, you can see that has changed. Nothing changed in our results. The only thing that changed is the name. Why? Because I created an alias. How did you alias? You just say as, then you put your alias, right? So now that that alias exists, I can just order by the alias name. Order by number of representative. Paste. What did I just do? Undo. I'm going to copy this, Control C, and come here, Control V. Why is that doing that? What is going on this beautiful Saturday? I guess it is their server that is given. Even my run is not working here. I guess the server is giving an issue today. I really don't know what's going on. I guess the server is giving an issue today. Okay, so I'm going to attempt copying again and check my copy. Still not copying. So let's just type it in instead of copying and wasting time. Number of representative, right? Let me just delete all this. Don't know why, right? So I am going to run that. That didn't give any result of strength. So it should have done. Yeah. Shouldn't have. So when you type, it does not show on the end. Amazing. This is so amazing. Let's just hold on to it. Let it show up because I've done it on my system, but from my phone I can see that okay, it's up now. So you can notice that I did order by number of representative. So what that does is it arranges the results using the number of representative column in an ascending order, ascending means from top to bottom. Numerically, that would mean from um, 1 to infinity, right? Or from smallest to the largest. So because 1 is smallest, it's going to show 1, 1, all the numbers and everything like that. So you see 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 24, and 91, right? So what if we want to see, the highest country? We don't want to start from the smallest to the biggest, we want from the biggest to the smallest, or the largest to the smallest. We do that by putting our order by in a descending order. So all we do is to type in here descending, DESC, descending, right? That's how we spell the descending, just DESC. Ascending will be ASC, descending is DESC. So when I run that now, my result is going to reshuffle, it's going to rearrange itself from the largest, with the country, from the country with the largest representative in the of actors in our table to the countries with the least representative of actors in our table, right?
Please, sir, can you zoom the syntax, the code a little bit?
Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes, I can see it now. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So from our result now, we can see that USA is the first one. Sorry, it's just showing Somalia. It's going to change. Just hold on. So you have USA, we have British, we have Australia. Why is it showing like this? Because we make it descending. We just told the engine that run this in descending order from the largest number to the smallest number. And how is it going to know what metric to make that order? It is by the number of representatives. If I change this to nationality, that's order by nationality descending, it's going to use nationality as the basis for which it's going to run the ordering system. So that's how we use order by, right? Any question thus far? Let's call it a day here. I really couldn't show you what I wanted to because of time. Time. Any question thus far? No question?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So,
Hello?
good evening.
Can you hear me, sir?
Good evening, Ibrahim. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, my question is about the part where you said you can only group by what is in our select statement. I don't know if you can like do a small
Yes.
recap on that, sir. So better get the concept.
Okay, so I was referring to the group by. You know that when we were doing the where clause, we could say that show me the names where gender is equals to male or gender is equals to female without the word gender being in the select statement. It doesn't have to be there for that to work. But when you are using group by, whatever you put in your group by must already exist in your select statements. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So if it is not there, the system will tell you that it's a problem, not going to work. It's just going to tell you that. I don't want to run that now because my system is having a serious buffer, right? Sorry, someone is saying one, Anthony. Today's topic, just put this intermediate SQL. Yes, intermediate SQL, yes. Right? So, as you can see it on the top, almost to the top left of the screen, that tab right there, intermediate SQL. Right. So, your whatever you use, for example, okay, let me show you. Just this one. You see what I'm saying? My system is having some holiday session today. It's not responding. I guess it's the what do you call it now? Data lab server or something. As even said error. Missing. So it's the data lab. So what I want to show you was that if you are done after nationality, say group by nationality, comma gender. As long as gender does not exist, that word gender is not in that select statement, it will run into an error. So if I want to group by gender also, I must put gender in my select statements. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. So what I wanted to show you, but I can't do this now because of time, is data joining, which would have come after we did the having, then data joining. That's where the dramas, not the drama, the amazing things start happening, right? So, what is data joining? I can't teach it now because of I just want to explain it rundown. Data joining is where we get to test this theory of primary key and foreign key. It is where we get to draw insights from multiple tables. You know that now we'll be using single table, actors dot movies dot actors. It's just one table. But now we want to get results from multiple tables. We want to use from the actors table and then the rental table and then the acting table. We want to get a so let me give you a simple analogy. You know that this our actors table now. It does not have the record for the movie. Movie name is not here. We only know that these actors exist in the database, but we don't know the movie they acted in. Even though that data is in our database, we don't know what movie they act. So data joining helps us join different table to draw insight. So now I can now know what movie Abikonish acted. Was it a bestseller or not? That's what data journey can do, but I can't do that now because of time. Seems very small. So we're going to do that next week, but I'm going to give you an assignment on that so that you can start entering into that field. When we start talking about it's not so foreign to us, right? So that's where we get to join. We know how to use primary key and foreign keys, how to handle null data. And at the beginning of the class next week, I'm going to talk about like, what if we have a list of words, like a sentence, right? And I want to draw results based off one word in that record. So let's assume that we have a database of reviews. I want to show all the reviews that has the word I like or I love in it, right? There's a way to do that on SQL, right? So we're going to walk through that too next week. So please and please, for the sake of our time, I'm going to do something new. Do you understand? Just like the form I created on Discord, right? Form on Discord. I'm going to create another form. That form is going to be for questions that you wanted to ask but you couldn't ask during the class, or maybe problems you encountered during a course. The other form I sent was a feedback form. What I'm going to send now is like you are doing your course and then you notice this concept is difficult and stuff like that. So you see that form to send the response. So I'll use that response to address that during the week. So maybe we'll find a time and just come together, probably 1 hour, 30 minutes thereabouts, trash it out and stuff like that, for as many as are available and stuff like that. Do you understand? That's what I can give myself to do. All right. Um, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. And I think I told, I don't know if I, yeah, let me just, I like to reiterate this. I like to reiterate this. Let me just say it again. Please and please and please. Data analytics is statistical in nature because we're going to get somewhere that is going to be statistics. So get just I'm just saying I'm not saying to scare you, like I said. For those who did not hear that, we did not hear that. I'm not saying to scare you. I'm only saying this to just prepare your mind because I'm going to break it down to you very well to understand to the best of my abilities. But when you hear statistics, don't run. It's not scary because when you go to the market to buy stuff and they give you change, that's statistics. It's not crazy, right? Don't let it scare you. Stuff like that, when you like and so 700 likes, well, that's statistics. What are doing statistics, counting stuff, statistics. You get grouping by statistical functions too. It's just statistics, is just for some people, it seems to be like, oh, one big stuff, like, nah, but I'm just saying it so that when you start, because you meet it in the course. So when you start seeing it, it doesn't, shake you up like, get. So just had to put that out there again for those who were not around last week or the last week. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I'll just take one more question. First to raise up their hand and answer that and we call it today. Just one more question. If it exists. It's not compulsory, but if it exists, one more question and call it today.
Good evening, Christian.
Good evening.
Thank you for the class. That's been insightful and it's really valuable. And thank you for your time once again.
Thank you.
Sir, I did not get the part where you were explaining how to get the data sources from data labs. So I'm trying to go through it now, but I think I'm stuck in my track. So please, sir, can you
Can you see
maybe
my
give?
screen?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yes.
Okay, so you see that place where you see course database. Hello? Can you see that? I mean anything.
Yes. Yeah, I can
Okay,
see
so
it.
let me open a new workbook so that we are sharing the same scenario. So this is a new workbook. Typically, what you see is this an empty blank space, and then you click on SQL, right? So typically, you will see something like this: select data source from a new workbook. But if you already have an
Sir,
existing workbook,
can you zoom in? Like zoom,
can you see it now? Are you using your phone?
laptop. Can you
Your
zoom
laptop?
in?
Okay. Can you see it now? I've zoomed in.
Like out, maybe out.
Out.
Like
Okay. Zoom out. Okay.
yeah, perfect.
Okay. So Can you see where is this? Okay, I can't annotate here. All right. So can you see this point here? This select data source.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. When you click on that, you see select data source again. So you click on select data source. All right. So this pop-up menu would appear. All you have to do is to scroll to the very bottom. Why you see my own so much? Like because I've been uploading different data of my own. So that's why you're seeing all this list here. On yours, you might not see that list. You will not see it except you've been uploading stuff, right? So you click on browse sample data, right? And then when you click on that, it's going to open up this other interface. What we are using is PostgreSQL. So we click on Postgres here.
Sir, please go
Now,
back a bit from that select data
um,
source.
amazing. All right. So select data source, and then you click on select data source again, right? And then it opens up this menu. Like I said earlier, I said the reason why you are seeing so much list like this is because these are all the data I have uploaded to my data labs. Yours would not show like this. Do you understand? Yours will just show this first upper part, and then what you see next is browse sample data sources. My own is down. So when you click on select data, you click on browse sample data sources, and then when this opens up, you click on this filter here called Postgres by your right. You see it down there by your right, Postgres. So when you click on Postgres, you can select from any of these database, any of them would work. But what we use today is this course databases. So you click on course databases, and then you click on select data source. Now, what I was explaining to, I can't remember his name now, to him before, someone who asked about this before, was that each of these tables you see by your right are relational database. They exist relationally. So under cinema, you can see different tables. You can see the number 5 beside cinema. It means that there are 5 tables in this database. So under cinema, you have descriptions, films, people, reviews, rows. Under DVD, you have that and that and that. Now, mind you, I can select soccer, I can select movie, I can select data, DVD rental. It does not matter. Whatever I click here now does not matter. It will only just to show me like a preview here. Do you get? It doesn't matter. What I mean by it doesn't matter is that when I click select data source, it does not mean that because I clicked DVD rentals, I can no longer do movies.actors when I click data source by my right here. Do you get? So if I click, so let me show what I mean. So let me say I selected summer medals, right? You can see I clicked on summer underscore medal, right? And I clicked select data source. It's going to open this up. And you can see it has given me a brief summary of the data inside. So it said world dot countries dot no, it shouldn't do this. I'm not looking for world. Okay, see, it went to go and do world. So world does country does see we even selected medals and it's showing for world because world is a relational database inside. So even though I selected medals, I can still come here and type movies dot actors, right? And I run and I'll still get my results because what I have selected now is the course database itself, like the database itself, the entire database, right? So that's how data lab works. I'm just showing you that because you might have a mistake, the assumption of the fact that if I click on this and I select data, it will not work when I come to query data. It will work. Do you understand? Did that make sense, or did that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. So that'll be the end of our class today. Thank you so much. I hope we have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Please always use your data, your feedback form on the Discord channel. And for those that have sent your reviews, I highly appreciate the compliments, the complaints, also the report and stuff like that. We'll do well to work, and I will do well to work on the complaint that was placed and stuff like that. And for those, and for Ismail, I think yes, Ismail made a very huge complaint. Ismail, please, for your case, It's still something that I'm still working on. But for now, just keep attempting. It doesn't really stop your certificate, right? And for those that have the same similar situation as Ismail, it does not stop your certification, right? So all you have to do is just continue the data analytics course track, career track on data labs. That's this one. Let me show you. That's this one here. Just click on career tracks here by your left panel here, right? Click on career tracks and then click on SQL, sorry, data analyst and filter, and then click on data analyst, associate data analyst in SQL. Click on that and then you enroll. Click on enroll and you continue. I've done it. So the enroll button is no longer here for me before you see the enroll. So enroll and continue the track while we try to sort that out for your assignment and stuff. But for the assignment that's going to be coming up after today is going to be based off joining data in SQL and data manipulation, right? And it's going to last for a week. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your patience. And we look forward to building better things. Have a wonderful night's rest, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Please, was the attendance posted earlier? I was locked out. My network logged me out and I can't see it again. And I did not feel it. Please, can somebody repost it back? Mm.